3 months now since Superstorm Sandy hit the East Coast, causing record-setting damage to New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. One of the hardest hit places was Queens. CBS 6's Chris Gloninger was there during the devastation back in October, and today he went back. He joins us live now in the Breezy Point neighborhood of Queens, where hundreds of homes were destroyed or damaged by fire during Sandy. And Chris, we certainly remember your dramatic reports from that area. What are you finding now?
Liz, there is complete devastation all throughout southern Queens. We didn't make it this far on our first trip. That was the day after Hurricane Sandy made landfall. We made it to Broad Channel, Queens, and we saw a lot of devastation, a lot of flooding. But this is the area that had that major fire that started a couple of blocks that way. Every home behind me, as far as the eye can see, is down to its foundation or slab. You see charred remains of whatever's inside. I don't even know what this is, all rusted up. You see junction boxes with also wires that go probably up the siding into homes. And as you look over here, you just have all of this debris, a fence post. This is what's left of the fence post. You still see the nails sticking out of it. And you come across here, the cement blocks obviously are standing, and these cement planters. The next door neighbor's house is down to its foundation, but it's interesting what made it. There's actually a staircase that is still semi-intact, and this is just for blocks in each direction, and it goes probably for another 4 blocks behind it, probably 40, 50 houses that you can see from here that were burnt to the ground. When we got into town, much like what we did in October, we started off from Broad Channel, Queens, going down Cross Bay Boulevard, dropping south, and this is some of the video we shot earlier. We met a gentleman in October who was not home at the time, and we met his next door neighbor today, and they rode out the storm again, like many of their neighbors. It was horrifying what they had to contend with. This family has been broken apart. They have 2 small children that are living in eastern Long Island. The rest of the family is in Brooklyn staying, and they've lived apart now for 3 months. They're hoping to get back into their home by the 4th of July. That's their end goal. And we talked with Stacy Walsh, and she said, you just have to wait it all out.
I mean, I have electric, but what can you do with it? You can't live here. I got no water, no heat, no water, no bathroom, so to speak of, but it is what it is. You just got to move on. That's it, you know, take it one day at a time, do as much as you can in the little bit that you have, and eventually you got to put your life back together, because what else are we going to do?
And that's what they're hoping to do. They said to keep their sanity, they have that end goal, that July 4th deadline to get all of the work inside completed. And these are what the homes look like in Middleburg, in Schoharie. All of the sheetrock are off the walls, and the rebuilding process is just in its beginning stages. You see the NYPD driving by. They're performing these patrols, and in fact, when we drove into town, there was a checkpoint, and they're checking every car coming into Breezy Point, and that's due to looters. They have electricity back, and one of the gentlemen that I spoke with earlier in Broad Channel said that a lot of this has been, a lot of the security has tightened up. Even in the last month or 2 months, people are still taking advantage, unfortunately, of these people who have been left homeless. So coming up on the later editions of CBS 6 News, we'll hear much more from these residents and what they had to endure. And tonight by 11 o'clock, we're going to talk to a resident who is the head nurse in the Coney Island Hospital, who sat on the boulevard while this neighborhood burnt, and he didn't know if his house was one of the houses burning, but when he got back, his house was devastated by the flood. So he's actually in the rebuilding process. But for now, we're reporting live in Breezy Point, Queens. Meteorologist Chris Gloninger, CBS 6 News.